I'm not traditionally a fan of max cushion running shoes, but these two might be swaying me. Today, we're comparing the Mizuno Wavesky 9 with the On Cloudsurfer Max. What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre, aka Rad Dad Bod, and you're watching Rad Dad Bod TV, where we review running shoes. Today, like I said, we're comparing the Wavesky with the Cloudsurfer Max, but if it's your first time watching one of my videos, you may notice some timestamps below. Feel free to jump around the various parts of the review, but if you do so, I'd sure appreciate if you come back, watch the full thing when you get a sec, as I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. And if you've been a viewer for a while, but for whatever reason haven't hit that subscribe button, please consider doing so today and turning on those notifications so you get notified every time I drop a new video, which is typically Monday through Friday. Now, quick plug, I actually had my charity bid accepted for the Tokyo Marathon in 2026. As such, I'm currently raising money for that cause. If you'd like to donate, please consider using the link in my description below for GoFundMe, but I'm actually also committing the revenue from YouTube for June, July, and August for that, as well as any commissions that I generate from the affiliate links in the description below. So if you don't have the means to donate, but we're already looking at getting some running gear, whether that's running tights or something along those lines, or you need some more running gels, some electrolytes, something along those lines, please consider using either of the affiliate links below, as they will give me a kickback and I will be donating those to charity. Now, quick disclaimers and disclosures are that I did receive both of these shoes for free from their respective brands for the purpose of review. That being said, I'm not paid, nor am I given talk tracks, talking points, nor does anyone watch the videos beforehand. All thoughts are entirely my own. With that out of the way, let's talk about the intended use of these shoes. Now, the intended use of max cushion shoes are really just for primarily recovery runs, right? Or maybe some longer runs as well. For the most part, max cushion shoes are not going to be the most versatile. They tend to be a little bit pricey, and we'll talk about that. But for me personally, I'm not a big fan of traditional max cushion shoes. Now, to me, both of these kind of vary a little bit from max cushion in the past, so we'll talk about that and break that down. Now, from a price perspective, both shoes come in at $180, which even for a max cushion shoe is pricey. Typically max cushion shoes I think fit more in that 160 range, 170 range. So I was a little surprised to see both of them. On typically is a little bit more expensive, so I wasn't surprised to see that necessarily, but Mizuno charging 180, you know, the market as a whole I guess is just going up, but two max cushion shoes there for $180. Now, from a specs perspective, both of these are very, very similar actually. So the Wavesky comes in at 10.4 ounces, which is 294 grams. And then the Cloudsurfer Max comes in at 10.3 ounces, which is 292 grams. 10.3 ounces is not super heavy for a max cushion shoe actually. So like I said, I don't love max cushion. One of the reasons is because of the heavy weight. Both of these shoes though are pretty light for max cushion shoes. Now they're still on the heavier overall side of running shoes, but most max cushion shoes I feel like are closer to the 11-12 ounce range. So it's nice to see these in the low 10s. Now from a stack perspective, the Sky comes in with 44 in the heel, 38 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. Meanwhile, the Surfer Max comes in at 37 in the heel, 31 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. So you have a good amount over 40 in the Sky, just under 40 in the Max. So, you know, what is considered max cushion? To me, max cushion is really more of intended usage, more so than stack height, as even daily trainers are nowadays, most of them are pushing 40mm to be honest. Now from a fit perspective, the Cloudsurfer Max fits wide throughout and true to size lengthwise. So for me, you know, the heel is very wide, the midfoot is pretty wide, and the toe box is a little bit more standard, but still kind of wide. But wide overall, wide foot friendly, whatever you want to call it, true to size length though. The Wavesky is a little bit different. So I would say it's true to size length, and then I would say it fits pretty standard throughout. So you kind of have more of a standard heel, midfoot, and toe box area. I'm not ready to call it snug. I don't think it's snug. I know some Mizuno have fit snug in the past, but for these in particular, I'd say more standard. Now moving to the uppers, the Wavesky 9 has a smooth stretch woven upper, and it is a little bit lighter and more breathable than you would expect, again, from a max cushion shoe. Most of the reason why I don't like max cushion shoes is they're just too much, right? There's too much weight, there's too much cushion. And I feel like this shoe does a good job of kind of staying a little bit more moderate, kind of medium cushion throughout, right? The tongue is gusseted, which is super nice. The tongue is medium to heavy weight, but then you don't have anything overwhelming kind of in the heel area. You have maybe like medium to light cushioning there. I'm not ready to say that the shoe is super, super breathable, but I've only run in it in the summer so far, and my feet aren't really dying from being in the shoe either. So overall for what it is, it breathes pretty well. Lockdown is really, really nice in the shoe. You have the heel kind of a light flare, not a huge flare, but the heel is comfortable. You're not going to get any excess rubbing. You get that good lockdown in that midfoot area. I've heard some people say that the toe box feels a little bit short to them. I really didn't feel that though. And so just my opinion is still, again, it fits true to size on that length. Overall though, it is a very structured kind of classic upper, but a very comfortable one at that. Now On went with a little bit more modern looking upper and a little bit less structured than On normally goes with their models, as you know, you have like the Swiss engineering, the sharp edges and everything. Now this is a little bit, looks a little bit more like almost like a knit upper, but this is actually an engineered mesh upper. You just have kind of some of these knit elements. So you do have like a knit, I would call it a knit tongue, and the tongue is gusseted as well. So really glad to see both of these with a gusseted tongue. Then you have some light cushion there, kind of that cushioned heel, just to kind of hopefully help reduce some of that heel slippage. Now for me on the Surfer Max, I did have some shifting at faster paces. Seeing as this is a little bit more of a recovery run shoe, or is a recovery run shoe, when I was running easy in it, I was totally fine. I didn't have the heel slide up too much, but I tried to do some strides and my foot was basically popping out of the shoe. So keep in mind, I didn't use a runner's knot, but it does fit wide and you are going to shift in the shoe unless you really, really cinch down and lock it down. From a breathability standpoint, I think it breathes better, I would say, than the wavesky, but not like significantly better. But it is a nice lightweight upper. And again, I really appreciate that in a max cushion shoe because usually they're just really, really overbearing. You do have less overall cushion in the tongue area, midfoot area than the wavesky, but all in all, I think it's a really, really nice upper, and it's one of the big highlights for me of this shoe. Now moving to the midsoles, you have obviously the Cloudtech Phase, the clouds there in the midsole, and then this is a Helion foam, which is a EVA OBC blend. To me, this was super firm out of the box, like as firm as any other foam on the market out there. It did ease up though about 15 to 20 miles in. Now easing up, it's still going to be one of the firmer foams on the market. So just keep that in mind. If you like a firm foam, this is going to be a good one for you. But what's really, really interesting is the geometry of the midsole and those clouds. I really like how it actually transitions from heel to toe. So while I think I like something a little bit softer typically than what is here, I really like the geometry, and I know everyone says that the clouds are a gimmick, and for the most part, I would roughly agree. They are gimmicky, but the Cloudtech Phase in this setup does roll through really, really nice. I just wish it was maybe a slightly softer foam. Now the shoe itself is very, very stable. A lot of people have asked about the squeak. It doesn't squeak. They actually don't have a speed board or a plastic board on the bottom anymore as well, which is, I think, one of the reasons why they made it a little bit firmer. All in all, the shoe isn't going to be like super responsive, but it is going to be protective underfoot, and I really liked it. I actually wore it traveling this last week when I was in Georgia, wore it around casually, wore it through the airports, and I really liked how it supported my feet. And it wasn't like overly squishy, because sometimes when you wear a high stack squishy shoe while walking around, your feet actually get tired from moving around so much. This one gives some really, really nice support underfoot. The upper was breathable, the upper was spacious enough that my feet could just kind of move around as needed, or could swell if I was on an airplane. And so all in all, like, very comfortable overall experience, and I think it's a good looking shoe as well. Now the midsole compound for the wavesky 9, you have a supercritical EVA up top. This is the new version of supercritical EVA in Mizuno NRZ NXT, which is really, really nice. Their new foams are phenomenal. And then you have, I believe, kind of a firmer underfoot. I think the second layer is just another EVA. I think this might be their old EVA on bottom. So you do have the dual layers. You know, there's more foam underfoot than in the Surfer Max, and this is going to be a little bit of a bouncy overall experience. So, you know, it's still not going to be fast, but between the two, I think you could probably go faster in the wavesky 9. Both, I think, are going to be equally as stable, but if you want a bouncier and softer overall ride, then the wavesky is kind of the move there. So, again, still not really a fast shoe. I actually like the geometry and heel-to-toe transition of the Max more, but the bounciness, while not being overly soft and squishy, is really, really nice in the wavesky 9. you know, I just, like I said, I really like their new foams. I really, really like what they've done with their foams. Now moving to the outsoles, both of them have really good outsoles in my opinion. Now durability wise, I think just from walking around and dragging my heels, because I do walk, is it pigeon-toed? I walk with my feet out, right? There's some decent wear and tear on the heel. It's not really a fair comparison though. To be honest, I actually have some wear and tear on the heel of the wavesky 9 already as well. So, you know, Mizuno, if this is their X10 rubber, Mizuno has really strong rubbers. They have really, really good rubbers. So that might be what's going on. So assuming that that is the same rubber compound that they use on a lot of shoes, that grip is going to be really, really good. And I've, you know, run in the summer here in Utah. It's basically a desert. So I'm not getting a lot of moisture right now. Now I did run in Georgia where there was a lot of moisture running through puddles, different things, and the Cloudsurfer Max did really, really well. So not concerned at all about the grip. They actually used a computer optimized, I forget what they call it, but computer technology to design the outsole pattern and whatnot. And I've noticed that both on the Cloudsurfer and Cloudsurfer Max, On's outsole is really, really good. And then Mizuno is just always really, really awesome. So my pick between the two, I feel like I'm not giving straight answers in a lot of my videos lately when it comes to my pick, because in a lot of these comparisons, it's close and it kind of comes down to the day. I think for running, for like a recovery run, which is the intended use of these shoes. For a recovery run, I think that the wavesky 9 is going to accomplish that a little bit better just because the foam is a little bit softer. But I really like the Cloudsurfer Max. I really like it kind of as a casual shoe. I really like it as an easy day running shoe. It's not fast. It's not made to be fast. I think that the wavesky 9 is faster. I think the wavesky 9 is more comfortable underfoot, but I really like the overall feel of the heel to toe transition of the Cloudsurfer Max. So I don't know which one I would rank higher or lower between these two. I'm going to need to put some thought into that one. Right now they're tied. I'm going to say they're tied, and maybe that's a cop-out. But I'm going to say they're tied because they feel entirely different for me. You know, if it was a day where my legs were really, really beat up and I wanted some extra cushion, wavesky 9. If it was a normal day, like normal easy run, standard run day, and I just want to wear a shoe that I like, Surfer Max. So just some final thoughts. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of max cushion shoes to begin with, but I think that they're doing some good things here, right? To me, if you're gonna be a max cushion shoe, you gotta be a little bit lighter or you gotta be a little bit more responsive. And both of these kind of give you a slightly lighter package for a max cushion shoe. The wavesky 9 gives you some good responsiveness. The Cloudsurfer Max gives you some good heel to toe transition. So all in all, they're doing the job. Might be my two favorite pure max cushion shoes so far this year, but there's quite a few. I actually am surprised at how many I have. Another one that's coming up, I just got the Fresh Foam X More V6, and so we're testing that right now. And then, you know, obviously we'll have to compare these to the Gel Nimbus 26 or 27 as well. So lots of comparisons to be made in the max cushion category. Anyway, if you watched this far, I sure appreciate you. Please let me know in the comments what you enjoyed about today's video, what questions you have about the shoes, or what other comparisons you would like to see. And again, quick plug, if you have the means and are willing to donate, please consider using any of the means in the description below to help me raise the money for the Tokyo Marathon. Lastly, I'll leave you with a question, which is, what has been your favorite max cushion shoe of 2025? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.